will soon touch his head. People on the bus are delightedly rejoicing, saying that John did everything right in relation to the thief. The bus driver says that if he decides to turn the guy into the police, he will take them. Not paying attention to anything, the guy takes his phone out of his pocket and starts looking at it. If he goes to the police, then it is unknown how long it will take, and today is his first stream after getting on the recommended list. But if you just let this pickpocket go back to the workshop, he will disappoint all these good people. Our world is constantly changing, but some things remain unchanged if someone had a person's wallet. Then the chance of getting their money back and catching the thief is usually negligible. Most people don't care at all about other people's grief. They prefer to stay on the sidelines and not get involved. But this crowd behaved differently. It is unknown whether John's visibility influenced this situation, but their willingness to sacrifice their time in order to act as witnesses against a pickpocket is very impressive. The main character cannot just spit on their souls, and as for the broadcast, this can be done on any other day. The guy decides not to disappoint people and says that they are now heading to the police station. The man from the transport decides to make a video, because the content needs to be shared with other people. John realizes that in this situation he can also broadcast. After all, he is the main character in this situation. The guy asks someone to lend him a notebook and pencil in order to fulfill everything he had previously planned. The girl raises her hand and shouts that she will gladly help the young man. John takes out his phone and decides that before the broadcast, he should explain to the viewers what is going on. He writes an appeal that he became a victim of a pickpocket, so today's stream will be on this topic. They managed to catch him, he is sitting on it now. Now people are taking him by bus to the police. The main character is filming the crowd on the bus. He caught the thief thanks to these kind people. They immediately intervened in the situation. In order to remain mysterious to his viewers, the guy decides to go into hiding today. His face is ordinary. There is nothing to show. Now is the peak of evening traffic jams. They will not get to the nearest station anytime soon. Therefore, the best option would be to stream on the bus itself, with the pickpocket serving as an easel. The girl offers to hold the phone while the hero draws. The guy has limited resources today, so he decides to draw several black and white sketches in the style of popular anime. He begins to work on the sketches, finishing each one quickly. Viewers in real life are delighted with his drawings and say that they, too, should subscribe to the guy. The pickpocket screams loudly. This whole situation is unpleasant for him, but the sketch is ready. It depicts two people who are not difficult to recognize. The bus driver tells people that there are only a couple of minutes left to get to the station. The main character decides that this time should be enough for him. Using the speed of his hands, he finishes the last sketch for the day. Everything turned out better than everyone expected. The transport arrives at the police building. They just managed to make it before it closed. Now John will go to hand over this pickpocket to the police. The stream is over for today. He leads the guy by the scruff of the neck and hopes that this incident will serve him as a lesson. Having finished with all the business, the main character leaves the building and thanks the officers. Today, he is very tired that he doesn't even want to run. Now he would like to drink a can of cool Coca-Cola and lie down in his bed. While the guy is heading towards the house, he is very attracted to the drink machine. The main character turns in his direction as if Coca-Cola itself is calling him. But he's trying to lose weight and it's already quite late. He imagines glass jars with a drink in the form of girls. They used to be in close relationships with him. Has he really forgotten about it? Despite all the side effects, he asks her if she thinks that he won't drink the lady. Scales appear in the guy's imagination. They ask if he remembers how much he weighs. John remembers all the saddest and most offensive words addressed to him, thereby preventing himself from being tempted. He remembers his weight, so he didn't drink anything. The guy turns in the other direction and tells someone that he asked her if he doesn't believe it. Suddenly, the main character comes to his senses and does not understand where he is and what is happening around him. John exhales calmly. It seems that he has already begun to hallucinate from hunger. Although the guy has been running for about a month, he doesn't know if there is any result. Approaching the scales standing on the street, the hero decides to weigh himself. The guy takes off his sneakers and jacket to remove excess weight. It's better to leave his pants on. The scales show 113 kilograms. A month ago, the guy was at least 120. At least the main character lost 7 kilograms. He turns towards the machine, quickly puts money in and buys a bottle of water. If now the hero allowed himself to drink cola, then tomorrow he would already eat a chocolate bar. He ran for a whole month. Not so that everything lost would come back in a couple of days. It is better to wait for the teeth and continue to work on yourself. If you think about it, over the past month, John has not only lost weight, but also achieved good results in other aspects. He spends a lot of time on completing the task of the walker, and only runs 20 kilometers a day. You need to think about how it could be combined with some other activity, for example, as he did with the tasks of the illustrator and stream master. While there is no one at the stadium, you need to buy and try a new camera as quickly as possible. He opens his system and completes the purchase of a new gadget. The camera looks, to put it mildly, strange. It is better not to use it in public. Otherwise, it will attract too much attention. It would be much better if it looked like a regular camera. Without having time to finish, the gadget is transformed. It can transform at will. John decides to test the camera to make sure of its capabilities. It enables broadcasting with just the power of thought, and it is very convenient to operate without hands. Today, the main character, as usual, will run about 10 kilometers, and the day after tomorrow, there will be a mini marathon with Kathleen. Before that, you need to complete the current stage in order to improve your characteristics even more by the time of the marathon. Only 2 people came to the broadcast, but the number of views increased by 4. 2 people standing in the country look at how the main character runs. When a guy broadcasts, views are taken into account not only online, but also offline. If he had known this earlier, he would not have streamed alone in the workshop. Now he needs to change the broadcast strategy. The next morning, the guy comes to the estate museum where the performance is taking place again. People look at what is happening with pleasure. They think that this is a real wedding. Today has again become a significant day for him. The main character got married again, so he asks to share the joy with him and dance. People around raise their hands jubilantly, shout, and ask to start dancing. John asks his assistant to go downstairs and film him now the hero is broadcasting. A man walks down to the crowd and points the camera at the guy, smiling sweetly. Having finished the dance, John made an announcement. In 10 minutes, he will start drawing portraits for free. He asks not to be shy and to participate. The experiment of combining tasks was successful. In a few minutes, he manages to gain more than 30,000 views. The progress with the distribution of likes is not so impressive, but he had just a minute. The landowner approaches the hero and asks him to hold off on dancing for now because he is drawing all the attention to himself. The main character stands among the crowd and calls more and more people to him, offering free and well-drawn portraits. He asks not to be shy, to come up. The drawing will come out beautiful and fast. The crowd stands to the side so the hero can dance, draw, and broadcast. John asks not to leave, but people are not ready to agree to drawing a portrait. Viewers write in the comments that they have been watching the streamer for about half an hour, trying to call people over, but everyone refuses. Everyone thinks that this is just a scam, because the drawing is done completely free of charge. People are embarrassed to be the first. He just needs to find one, and the rest will come one after another. John notices the landowner's daughter in the crowd. She must save him. The main character approaches her and asks if she has a couple of minutes of her time. The girl wonders if the newlyweds paint portraits of her. He replies that he was assigned this at the art academy and asks her to pose. The lady smiles sweetly and asks to try to finish quickly because she will soon go on stage again. The girl sits down and asks if she is sitting normally. Many comment on all this from the side. The main character quickly ends with a portrait. 2 ladies nearby ask if they can also sit down and get their drawing. He replies that everything is absolutely free. There is no catch in this action. The landowner's daughter sighs from surprise and the good result. Holding a piece of paper in her hand, she smiles widely and says she is absolutely delighted. The girl asks to take a photo with the artist, because he's very talented. The guys stand next to each other, holding a portrait in their hands, and pose for a photograph. Suddenly, another task appears. To complete it, you need to take 100 photos together with different people. As a reward, he gets the benefit of being photogenic, and having an infectious smile. It is unclear whether this is necessary, since the guy is not such a public person. Be that as it may, these characteristics certainly won't do any harm. And besides, you can complete this task casually. The girl approaches the hero, wondering if she can get a portrait, and asks him to draw her as nicely as possible. Having received the drawing, she asks to take a photo with him and praises the work. The main character immediately agrees. People continue to send comments in the chat. The crowd surrounds the guy, asking for more and more portraits. People start lining up to see him. Considering its length, even if the guy spends about 5 minutes on each person, the people who are now standing at the end will not receive their portrait even after 3 hours. This won't work, and besides, it's very hot outside. You need to work faster. The main character holds out a quicker portrait of the girl. The lady asks what kind of hack he painted for her. She didn't expect such a result. Before her, the guy drew multicolored drawings for all the girls, but hers turned out to be monochrome. Before her, each portrait took about 5 minutes. The guy spent no more than 2 on this. John explains that he just wants everyone in line to get a portrait. However, the girl is very unhappy with what is happening, because as soon as it was her turn, the style changed a lot. She asks to take and draw a normal portrait right now, even if it takes about 15 minutes. Otherwise, she will tell the rest of the people in line that the longer they wait, the worse the quality of the drawings will be. The guy decides that it would be stupid to make a row with her now. He will only waste time on nonsense. By the way, a person standing in line just wrote on the broadcast. The main character uses the power of thought and asks for help not to be distracted. The guy understands this and says that he will soon head in their direction. A man stands next to people on the sidelines, smiling very gloomily and scary. The guy asks his friend not to pay attention to this hysterical woman and draw as he wants. The girl asks what this man just called her. He wonders if she is deaf. He grins while continuing to argue with her, distracting her from the main character. The guy inhales heavily through his nose to start talking about his thoughts. He explodes and shouts at the girl. The hero painted a portrait for free, and the lady does not understand the essence of what is happening. Despite everything around him, the guy continues to speak out because the lady is holding up the line with her indignations. He repeats everything he said again so that the girl clearly realizes her mistake. The cheering crowd claps in agreement with his words. The girls approach the indignant people from the side and ask them to leave here, because they are detaining everyone. One of the others approaches the streamer and asks for his profile in order to subscribe. John replies that you need to enter Batten's workshop in the application so she can subscribe. The girl sends an attraction ring. He thanks her. She is very generous. The main character continues to draw portraits of people and take photographs with them, completing more and more tasks. Having completed the mission, the guy receives the most easily earned points of all time. The characteristics, in turn, may help in the pursuit of tomorrow's marathon. In just today's broadcast alone, the guy received 100,000 views. Against this background, the previous figures seem simply ridiculous. If we continue at the same pace, then in a week, John will be able to complete the 3rd stage, or he will be close to it today. He still needs to run up to the 200-kilometer mark in order to improve his endurance for tomorrow's marathon. Taking the easel and all his things, the guy heads toward the stadium and asks his marathon to wait for him. The next day, having arrived at the competition, the main character approaches the information desk. He says that he is a participant in the marathon, asking for a t-shirt. The girl at the reception thinks that this fat guy can't participate in it. The guy shows his phone, talking about an application for participation, but apparently they don't have that size. Kathleen approaches the hero from behind. The girl is glad to see him arrive. The lady holds out a t-shirt for her friend. She put it aside especially for him. The guy is incredibly happy about such generosity and care on her part. Kathleen points her finger towards the bushes and says that there is a man sitting in them and sneaking glances at him. John explains that this is her neighbor in the dorm. He also wants to take part in the marathon, but is very shy. Having quickly reached the couple, he explains that he really wanted to find out if his friend really took part in the competition. Kathleen believes that running a marathon is a piece of cake for the main character, because he is a great fellow. Noodles doesn't understand how the girl knows his friend so well. The girl does not answer this question and says that she has a lot to do and should leave urgently. Turning to her friend, Kathleen compliments the loaf's smile. Noodles praises his friend for being able to charm such a stunning lady. John jumps with happiness because the girl he likes praised him. The main character asks his friend to help him with the broadcast since he came to this marathon. He reminds you that you can't take off your face because the guy is hiding it. John greets his subscribers. Today he promises to donate the entire amount raised to the fund of this marathon. He explains that today he will not show his face again, because he does not want his face to become the basis of his popularity. Okay, the hero tells his friend that he needs to get on a moped and film the guy from the side, parallel to the audience. Noodles looks at him indignantly, not understanding who he takes him for. The friend is not going to participate in this, because he thinks that he looks like a servant. Despite all his doubts, Noodles gets on a moped and says hello to his subscribers. Viewers already know that today the loaf will take part in a charity mini-marathon in total. More than 2,500 participants signed up for this event, mostly students and young white-collar workers. The guys around John tell him that the guy shouldn't run fast, otherwise his heart will stop. Despite all the comments, the guy closes his eyes and tries to calm down. Opening up his system, he sees a sports drink that prevents dehydration, provides the body with enough electrolytes and essential minerals, and is effective within an hour. The guy decides to find out how capable he is. On a normal day, he can run 10 kilometers in an hour and a half. Despite all his doubts, the hero wants to challenge himself and run this distance in 1 hour. People are running nearby. The first kilometer has been completed, and the time taken is 6 minutes and 30 seconds. John decides that this kilometer was a warm-up. Now he can speed up. Following